Chicago Tribune is reporting the Irish quarterback is out as a result of an academic violation.
And here's where things really get interesting, because Everett Golson, the same guy who played Alabama in the national championship game, disappeared. I'm invested because at this point in time, this is starting to seem like an unsolved mystery. The day is October 18th, 2014. We got a top 5 matchup with the Florida State Cinnamon Rolls and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It's coming down to the wire. As you can see, Florida State leads 31-27 with 17 seconds to go. Notre Dame has the ball and it's 4th and goal on the 2.5-yard line. Quarterback's going to take the snap, roll out to his right, and I'll let him take it from here.
Golson rolls, fires, touchdown!
Touchdown Notre Dame. They just upset and beat number 2 ranked Florida State. Or did they?
A flag is down. Hold on. There's a flag on the field.
A flag was thrown on the field for what they labeled as an illegal pick play. For those of you who don't know, that is a 15-yard penalty. You obviously don't get the touchdown, and now it's going to be 4th and 18, and your chances of converting that are slim to none. Was it actually pass interference? Yeah, I'd probably say so, but my problem with that play is we've seen it run over and over and over countless of times by different teams, and a lot of times it's not called. For example, Clemson ran a pick play against Alabama in the championship, and that wasn't called. That's just one of the many examples that popped into my mind. But the whole point of me showing you that play is because the quarterback that made that go-ahead or potential go-ahead touchdown pass to upset Florida State went by the name of Everett Golson. That name should ring a bell if you're a diehard college football fan, because that's the same young man who led Notre Dame to the championship game against Alabama in 2012. You can call it a coincidence, you can call it ironic, doesn't matter how you chop it up. After that touchdown pass that got wiped out of the board, Everett Golson's career went on a downhill slope. Just how downhill was it, you may ask? Well, let's just say the guy has pretty much disappeared and nobody knows where he's at or what he's doing. There's not a trace of this guy anywhere. We're going to talk all about this, but he also has one of the most bizarre college football careers I've ever seen. In the season in which he led Notre Dame to the championship game, he got benched 3 times. And then he had this big situation pop up where he did something crazy at Notre Dame and he got suspended for an entire season. There's many, and I mean many questions people have been asking about this guy even till this day. But however, it all circles back to the one, and I mean the one big question we're going to try to get to the bottom of in today's video. What really happened to Everett Golson? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you are having a great day. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And major shout out to Daredevil for requesting this video. He pretty much bullied me into making this one. He stated, bro been ducking making a video on Everett Golson. He's acting like I'm running away from it like it's some insane obstacle, when in reality, there's just been some other videos we've been working on, so be patient, be patient. Anyways, getting back on track here, you could say his persistence has paid off, because here we are. Like I've told you guys, if you've commented a couple of times because you want to see a certain video made, feel free to continue to comment it, because a lot of times I just haven't seen it. Oh yeah, too, I want to read out this comment. This is coming from ScareBear75. The comment states, Dear Matt, I'm a recent subscriber and I just wanted to thank you for making these videos. Whenever I'm having a bad day or going through something, I put on some of your videos and for a while all my troubles go away. I enjoy the way you tell these stories and your presentation is top notch. Thank you for making life a little bit better. Well, first things first, my brother, welcome to the community. I'm glad you subscribed and I hope you enjoy your time here. Secondly, thank you for those kind words. I'm excited you join our community and I hope you continue to enjoy your time here, because college football season, it's right around the corner, and as we all know, I mean, that's when we're really pumping out all the content. There's many more comments I want to read off, and there's many more things I could say, but you guys aren't here for the comments, you're here for the story, so strap in, buckle up, get you a snack, get you a popcorn, get your favorite meal you like to eat and watch a video, because trust me, I do the same thing. But alright, Matt, blah, blah, shut up, crap up, now without further ado, let's get into it. Everett Golson grew up in the state of South Carolina, where he played for Myrtle Beach High School. If I had to describe his high school career with one word, it would be phenomenal. Why do I say that? It's because he had 151 touchdown passes. I think we can all agree here that it's not only pretty good, it's outright ridiculous. This was good enough to earn him a 4-star ranking, a 9-1 overall scout grade, and a top 10 quarterback in his class. Originally, he committed to North Carolina, but then he flipped and signed with Notre Dame. He arrives on a campus at Notre Dame in 2011, red shirts, not too much to say there. The following season in 2012 as a redshirt freshman, this is where he led Notre Dame to the championship game against Alabama. Leading up into that Alabama game, though, although Notre Dame was 12-0, things were fantastic. For Everett Golson, it wasn't the same. It was an up-and-down season. He got benched 3 times that year just due to not producing enough on offense. Despite his struggles, Notre Dame, they were still winning games, and that was up until they played Alabama, and we know how that went. You don't need me to sit up here and remind you that it was a butt-whooping. After the Bama game, as a Notre Dame fan, you're sitting here thinking, well, dang. Everett Golson was a young guy. We made it to the championship. This is going to be great because we really overexceeded expectations, and we have our quarterback coming back. But like our buddy Lee Corso says, not so fast, my friend. In the offseason heading into the year 2013, this is when the breaking news will come out that Everett Golson is suspended for quote-unquote poor academic judgment. Goes without being said, this is a big deal, but everybody's trying to figure out what is quote-unquote poor academic judgment. Originally, the narrative that was being spun and what everybody was assuming is, oh yeah, he's failing and he's not making good grades. However, the truth would eventually come out that Everett Golson wasn't struggling with grades, he just got caught cheating. Here was Golson's first statements about it, quote unquote. It wasn't due to poor grades or anything like that. A reporter then asked him if he cheated on a test. Golson states, yeah, something like that. Here was the final and last thing that Golson had to say. I've been informed by the University of Notre Dame that due to my poor academic judgment that I have been suspended from the university for the 2013 fall term. I take full responsibility for my poor choices and will do all that is asked of me to regain the trust of my family, friends, teammates, coaches, and the entire Notre Dame community. I gotta clap it up to Everett Golson for taking responsibility and taking accountability. Some would say it shouldn't be applauded, but in today's world, you don't see that a lot. Also, too, I can't help but wonder if this ordeal would have happened at Alabama, if it would have happened at Ohio State, USC, Texas, any of the big dogs, big schools, if they would have overlooked this. And you know what I'm talking about, because Notre Dame is a prestigious academic school. Let me know in the comment section what you think about that, but I got a feeling if this happened at LSU, where Brian Kelly is now at, they would have swiped this under the rug. And it is still kind of crazy to me that the starting quarterback couldn't get away with it. You just figured at Notre Dame they might let this slide, but nah, guess not. Whoever was at Notre Dame when this happened probably bet on Everett Golson during the championship game and lost all of his money, so it took his anger out. Who knows? And I'm not saying they should have just let it slide. No. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying if this would have happened at any other big-time college football school, they probably would have let it slide. I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't have. Different conversation for a different day. Getting back on track here, Golson is now suspended for the entire season 2013, and he decides to stick it out with Notre Dame. He says, you know what? This is my family. This is my team. I like being here. I'm not even going to transfer to another school. Back when all this was going on, I do got to remind some of y'all, like I reminded myself, the transfer portal wasn't into effect. So hypothetically speaking, if he would have transferred, he would have had to sit down a season. The same situation he's currently at with Notre Dame. You can't help but wonder if the portal was into effect and he wouldn't have had to sit out if he would have left. I would like to say I think he would have, but we'll get all that in just a second. A little foreshadowing. If you are curious, in that 2013 year without Golson, Notre Dame, they had an okay season. They finished 9-4. Stereotypical Notre Dame year, 8-5, 9-4. We know how it goes. Fast forward time into 2014, Golson, he returns. Let me make this clear. He wasn't just handed over the starting quarterback position. He had to go out there and win it. And he did that. Next thing you know, you look up, Notre Dame is at a very impressive 6-0 heading into a top 5 matchup with the Florida State Seminoles. I remember this game just like it was yesterday, and I'm still somewhat salty they called that flag on Notre Dame at the end. Make no mistakes about it, your boy Matt is not a Notre Dame fan by any stretch of the imagination. And if you keep up with the channel, you know I'm the last person to praise and just give Notre Dame the credit they deserve. But good gosh almighty, that pick play against the Seminoles, we see that all the time in college football and it's not called. Or my apology, let me clarify. Back then, which was 10 years ago, that was never called. Now it is called a little bit. Long story short, Notre Dame loses to Florida State 31-27, but the season's not over. You're still 6-1. You're sitting pretty. That's what we thought at least, because after that game against Florida State, it just seemed like the whole team morale, it went out the window. It got ugly, and I mean, it got ugly quick. They won the next game against Navy, but went on a 4-game losing streak before beating LSU in the bowl game. 2 out of those 4 games they lost by more than 24 points. Embarrassing. In that later half of the season, Golson really struggled. Against Arizona State, he had 4 interceptions. The other games you see where they lost, and even against LSU in which they won, it wasn't too much better. So for that reason right there, it didn't shock too many people when Everett Golson announced that he was going to transfer and leave Notre Dame. It was the end of the era. It was time to move on, and I think both parties, they were satisfied with how the situation played out. Shortly after he departed, he announced that he's going to be transferring to, ironically enough, the team that he lost to on that flag and pick play, Florida State. Golson arrives at Florida State, and this feels like deja vu, similar to the previous year, wins the starting job, and he's 6-0. He has Florida State sitting pretty. At one point in time, they were ranked top 10 in the nation. That was up until they faced Georgia Tech, in which they lost 22-16 for their first loss. In that same ballgame, that's when Golson suffered a concussion, and he didn't play too much after that. It's really unfortunate because I would have loved to see Florida State with Golson run the show against Clemson at the time, who was also really good. And yeah, after that Georgia Tech game, after he got hurt, there's really not too much more to say because he was no longer the guy and he never got healthy. You want to talk about a brutal and terrible way to end your career? That's it right there. And I don't mean he was playing bad. No. I'm just talking about due to injuries. If you are curious, let me show you his stats from that 2015 season. Completed 67% of his passes. That's good. Had 1,700 passing yards with 11 touchdowns to 3 INTs. You'll take that. If you remember Everett Golson like myself, he was never this guy that was going to go out there and just take over a game. No, he was more of a game manager. Could he make some big-time plays? Absolutely, but that's what a game manager is. You're going to be asked to make about 5 to 6, maybe 7 big-time plays a game and do your job. He wasn't like a Johnny Manziel or a Cam Newton where he has 30 to 40 plays per game. You're like, oh my gosh, we can't stop this guy. No, it wasn't anything like that. He was just a really decent quarterback, sometimes good. After that 2015 season, he would officially declare for the 2016 NFL Draft, where he went undrafted. He did try out for a couple of teams here and there, but nothing came to fruition. Teams were interested, so he decided to try his luck with the Hamilton Tiger Cats out of the CFL, which is the Canadian Football League. He signed to their roster, things didn't pan out too well, and in 2017 he became a free agent. And here's where things really get interesting because Everett Golson, the same guy who played Alabama in the national championship game, disappeared. The last time he's posted anything on Instagram was in 2018, and it's a picture in his Hamilton Tiger Cats uniform. On Twitter, the last time he's posted or replied to anything is in 2018. Outside of that, there's not a trace of this guy anywhere. I spent at least, I'd say, around 4 to 5 hours trying to find out something, and I couldn't. So as to what he's doing or what he's up to, I have no idea. If you have any information, please enlighten us in the comment section. Because I know a bunch of you would love to know, and for myself, I'd love to know. I'm invested because at this point in time, this is starting to seem like an unsolved mystery. Where is Everett Golson, and what is the man doing? Here's what we can do, though. We can do the process of elimination. Number 1, is he playing professional football? No. We can cross that one off the board. Number 2, was he able to retire off of his earnings from professional football and fall off the face of the map and fall off the grid? No. He didn't make it to the NFL, and he only played about 1 to 2 years in the CFL, so he didn't make enough money to retire. So it now leads us to what I'm going to say the third option. He got a regular job somewhere, and now he's just a regular person, and there's nothing wrong with that. Let's ask the 2 questions we always ask at the end of these videos. Number 1, why didn't things work out for Everett Golson? To me, all throughout his career at Notre Dame and Florida State, he was slightly above average. Some games, you could even say he was great, but when you take all the games into account, on a scale of 1 to 10, he was a 6. For example, at Notre Dame in 2014, the year he came back after his suspension, he only completed 60% of his passes, had 3,400 passing yards with 29 touchdowns. That's amazing, but 14 INTs. The thing with Everett Golson is the risk didn't outweigh the reward. He wasn't going to win you many games, but he most certainly could lose you a few games here and there. I will say, though, at Florida State, he was much better, and I'm going to go back to this. It sucks how the way things ended there. Because he was on track to have an outstanding season, completing 67% of his passes, had 1,800 passing yards with 11 touchdowns and 3 INTs. So he was cleaning up that ratio. But even if he would have continued that season in 2015 for Florida State, I don't think he would have got drafted. Maybe he would have. Best case scenario, he would have been a 6th or 7th round pick. All in all, I think what held him back is 2 things. If he never would have got suspended at Notre Dame and he wouldn't have got nipped up and banged up the times he did, he could have made it to the NFL maybe. The other question we sometimes ask, is he a winner or a loser? There's no answer to that question because I don't know where he's at or what he's doing. Very interesting college career. I know some people are going to have mixed opinions and feelings about it, so I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below about Romany.